girls. I'm Miss Cara.
And I'm Mr. Chase.
We're from the Boys and Girls Clubs of Central Virginia.
So today, we are focusing on strength. Now, strength deals with endurance, toughness, capacity to withstand pressure. Now, how does that relate to yoga and mindfulness? Well, we could force our bodies into shapes and muscle through poses, but we don't really want to do that. That's not a good idea.
So in yoga and mindfulness, we tune into our body's possibilities and our body's limitations. Hear that again. We tune into our body's possibilities and our body's limitations. So that's a really important idea, especially when we're thinking about safety and how to be safe in our body. If you feel anything like pain or strong discomfort, that's your body telling you to stop. You're past your limitation. So make sure you listen to that. When we listen to our body's cues, we're building what's called strength of character. It reflects our self-respect, our honesty with ourselves, our self-awareness, and our knowledge about ourselves. So today, that's what we're dealing with, strength of character.
All right, let's get moving a little bit. So if you're sitting down, go ahead and stand up. All right, so just start moving your body in any direction. Just loosen up the joints, back might crack a little bit. Feel yourself waking up, especially if it's the morning. All right, let's do some heel taps. All right, let's tap our shoulders.
Notice how this feels in your body today.
All right, here we go.
Just take a moment to pause now. And we're reminding you today about honoring and respecting yourself, your body, and your body's limitations. And we're going to challenge you to be honest with yourself and to grow your strength of character through your yoga experience today.
So, for example, you might need to pause or step out of a pose that feels hard, or do something a little different or modify in order to honor yourself. So you might have to get into it a little differently than what you see here.
Yeah, and I'll make some suggestions about the choices that you'll have. And today we're going to start sitting down, but not in a chair. We're going to sit on the floor. So let's all go to the floor. And we're going to do a stretch called butterfly stretch. And you've maybe done this in PE. Now, Mr. Chase is sitting with ankles crossed. If that feels perfect for you, you can do that, or you can try it with the soles of your feet together. You can have your legs close or far away. These choices are modifications, whichever feels best in your body. So have your hands on your ankles wherever your feet are. Sit up nice and tall. Take a big breath in and out. And flap your wings, just gently. Little movement in your hips. Notice where in your body you can feel this. And then pause that movement, and we'll come into cocoon. You're going to bring your forehead toward your knees and fold your legs up. Make yourself kind of smaller, like you're in a cocoon. So forehead down and knees come up. Notice where you can feel this. It's probably some different places than butterfly. Slowly rise up. Take your hands to your knees and press your legs together. Separate your feet just a little bit and bring your hands behind you with your fingertips pointing forward. Coming into a little bit of a twist, you're going to bring your knees over to one side and then the other side. And then swish them back and forth like windshield wipers. Feels good on my back today.
Oh, yes.
One more time to each side. And then just pause at center. Cross your ankles and come forward to tabletop. In tabletop, your hands or your wrists are directly under your shoulders and your knees are directly under your hips. Spread your fingers nice and wide. You might have the tops of your feet down, or your toes might be tucked, whichever feels better in your body. You're going to look directly down toward the floor rather than looking up, because that can be hard on your neck. You want your neck to be in line with your spine. Take a big breath in, and as you exhale, you're going to pull your belly button in, round your spine, puff up your back, and bring your chin towards your chest. This is cat pose. As you inhale, lift your tail, belly goes down. Send your heart forward and look up. This is cow pose. So let me hear you hiss like a Halloween cat. Or meow. And then moo in your cow pose. A couple more times. Last time, both positions. And then return to table pose. Now you're going to extend one leg back behind you, hook your toes, press through your hands and feel that energy going through your heel so you're stretching out the back of that leg. And then release the pressure in your hands and lift that back foot. You're pressing through the heel, your foot is flexed, your toes are toward the floor. If you're up for a little more challenge, you can start to walk the opposite hand forward. And then if you want more challenge, you can see what it's like to lift that arm. You might need to put it down if you start to wobble, and that's okay. Be honest with yourself about what's happening in your body. As you exhale, hands and knee come to the floor. Make sure your hands are under your shoulders and your knees are under your hips, and we'll move on to the other side. Extend the other leg back, hook your toes, press through your heels, really get a good stretch, pull your belly towards your spine, and then lift that heel to hip height if you can. When you're ready, you can come up onto your fingertips. We call this tiger claw. You can tiger claw your fingers, walk them forward if you'd like, and ultimately, if you want, you can lift that hand to shoulder height. But if your body says put your hand down, because that helps you balance, make sure you listen to your body. It builds strength of character. Next exhalation, release, hand and knee. The next pose we're going to do is plank pose. This might be one that you've done before or not. So you have lots of choices. I'm going to show you how to do it on your forearms with your knees down. Mr. Chase is going to show you how to do it like a high push-up. So a couple of choices. So Mr. Chase, I'm going to need to pause the video. Sorry. Well, actually, I'll just cut it out. It's fine. So I'm going to show you first, and then I'm going to step out of it, and Mr. Chase is going to demonstrate how to do it the other way. The first thing you're going to do on your forearms is bring your arms down, your elbows, your forearms are down. You can interlace your fingers if you want, and then straighten your legs out. That's one choice. Another choice is to have your knees down and to have your upper body in the push-up position. Mr. Chase, do you want to show us how to do the full plank pose? So you're it's like a high push-up. Your shoulders are right over your hips, your knees are off the floor, looking right down toward the floor so your neck stays in line with your spine. So you have lots of choices. Choose the one that feels right for you and take that position for 3 cycles of breath. Mr. Chase, you don't have to stay there the whole time, but you can stay as long as you want. That's another choice you get to have. When you're ready, release that. And we're going to come down onto our shins. Bring your hands onto your hips and just notice how your body's feeling now. Preparing for a yoga flow or a pattern. We're going to do several poses on one side And then we'll do the other side before we finish up for today. From here, notice how your body feels as you bring one foot forward, coming into a low lunge. Figure out how your feet need to be and what feels right for you. As you start to press your hips forward, if your knee goes past your ankle, you gotta wiggle your toes out a little bit. Press your hips forward, lift your heart. If you want a bigger stretch, you can reach your arms up overhead. You can look straight forward or up above you, your choice. As you exhale, cross your body with that one hand and the other one goes to your hip and come into a twist. Look over your shoulder. Find the amount of twist that feels right in your body. If you want to make it a little more challenging, this elbow that's in the front is going to come down onto your leg. Press your hands together and turn, continuing to look to that side. But again, if this feels just right for you, stay here. Big breath in, and as you exhale, release to center, and just kind of get yourself set in this lunge again if you started to wobble out. We're going to make a transition now. You might choose to use your hands on the floor or keep your hands on your hips. Tuck your back toe and lift your knee. Coming into a high lunge. Hands come back to your hips, and this hip that's in the front, you're going to kind of pull it back a little bit. Find the amount of spread between your feet that helps you be strong in this position. But if this is really hard, or it's just your body doesn't like it today, you can bring that back knee back down. And then we're going to lift our hands overhead. If your arms get tired, bring them down. Just be here and watch the sensations in your body for a couple breaths. They might move and change. With your next exhalation, bring your hands to your heart and step your back foot slightly forward. We're going to come into a balance pose, into airplane pose. So tipping forward, that back foot is going to lift. It might lift and then tap the floor a little bit. This might be your whole pose right here. Or you might feel stronger today, more balanced. You might lift it up. You might fall out of it. It happens all the time. You can release your arms out to the sides. Find the pose that works for you. Try it again if you want. And then I'm going to challenge you to bend your front knee. As you release, bring your hands to your hips. And this knee comes forward. And if you want, you can extend it all the way in front of you. And then release. Take a big full breath in and out. Hands come to your hips. Step the opposite foot back this time and bring that knee to the floor, finding your low lunge on the other side. Press your hips forward. Again, if this knee goes past your ankle, make sure you wiggle your heel forward. This hip comes back, your spine is long, your shoulders are down your back, and if you like, reach your arms overhead. Gaze overhead or forward, your choice. Notice the possibilities in your body and the limitations. If your body says, no way, listen to that. If your body says yes, follow that. As you exhale, cross the body with that one arm and the other hand comes to your hip. Come into that twist, turning your belly button, your heart, and your gaze, looking to the side. If your body's saying, I want more twist, go ahead and lean forward as you bring your elbow to your leg, placing the other hand on top of that hand and pressing down with that top hand, pulling your top shoulder back and looking to the side. You might get into a pose and shortly after your body doesn't like it, so go ahead and release it back into that original twist if your body doesn't like it. And then exhale, come to center. We're going to transition to that high lunge, so hands on the floor or hands on your hip, your choice as you tuck your back toe and lift your knee for that high lunge. Pull this hip back. Find your strength in this moment now. Hands can reach overhead. Look forward or toward the sky. Just be here now. Your knee can be on the floor, whichever works for you. As you exhale, bring your hands to your heart. If your knee is on the floor, lift it up. And we're all going to step our back foot slightly forward to come into airplane pose. Start to shift gently forward, finding the balance that works for you. Hands can come out to the sides if you want that challenge. And then bring your hands back to your heart. Instead of putting that foot on the floor, you're going to bend your knee and bring it forward. Try straightening that leg out in front of you before setting it down next to the other. Find your mountain pose. Close your eyes or look down toward the floor. And take a big breath in and a slow breath out. Observe the sensations in your body for a few cycles of breath.
All right, so the next thing we're going to do is called bird breath. So I'm going to demonstrate first. What we're going to do is while we're doing this, you can keep your eyes closed or you can focus on the spot on the floor. So what's going to happen is I'm going to inhale and bring my arms all the way up to the sky. And then when I exhale, it's going to be 3 counts coming down like a bird wing. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3. So let's do that all together. So inhale, bring your arms up to the sky. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. And out.
Bring one hand to your heart and one hand to your belly. And take a moment to reflect or think a little bit about your experience here today. Notice what is standing out for you. That means, what's the thing that you did that you can notice most in this moment? And how is it related to strength of character? How is it related to your strength of character? Were you really honest with yourself? Did you push yourself more than we suggested? You might have, and that's a really good thing to notice. That's being honest with yourself if you notice that. I'm just going to ask you one thing to take with you. Whatever it was, whatever it is that stood out and you noticed the most, how can you shine that light and your awareness on the whole rest of your day? One thing to do, one small, maybe it's symbolic. What does that mean? Maybe each time you put your hand in your pocket, you take a big breath in and out. Maybe that's what works for you. Or maybe you go teach somebody something that you learned today. It's your choice, and it will all help to build your strength of character. With that, I I hope to see you next time.
Thank you so much for practicing with us today.
And have a wonderful day.